Men are facing a big crisis right now.
Yeah, fair enough.
And whether we like to admit it or not, society has created millions of lonely and addicted men.
Bro, I'm not going to say like we don't like to admit it because no man wants to feel weak, but also at the same time, it's kind of gotten to a point where it's just well, yeah, this is a thing, and it's been a thing regardless, whether we admit it or not. And like one of the main reasons, and I don't, he's probably going to get into it, but one of the main reasons why we don't admit it is because there's no reason to. Like there's literally no reason to. What we get told is to die. So, but who knows? Who knows?
There's a lot of discussion in the internet about male loneliness and how it is at an all-time high, with millions of opinions about it. So, what is causing this crisis to happen?
I feel like when he says millions of opinions, it's more like two. The like 6% of people that actually kind of give a fuck, and then everyone else who doesn't. At least from what I have seen. And it's interesting because we will see videos like this, and hopefully he has like some sort of cure instead of just saying become a decent person, because that doesn't really work, because we were already doing that for years. I'm gonna look at my watch. Yep, been doing it for 28 years. I don't know what else I could do.
If you identify as male, this video might give you some insights. As we make our way through this video, even if you don't identify as male, consider your father, brother, partner, and friends. If you've ever wondered why they act the way they do, we hope this video in the comment section will give you some insight. So is there a rise in male loneliness, and where is it coming from? Let's find out. Disclaimer, this is not to say that only men experience loneliness and that women do not, nor to say one's experience is worse than the other.
I'm glad he said that, because you have to say that, because if you don't, people get mad at you for some reason, because we can't stay focused on one single objective. We have to do everything all at once for some reason.
The truth is, both men and women can struggle with loneliness, but the reasons and ways they experience it can vary. This video focuses on male loneliness, and we will cover female loneliness in another video.
See, I can't wait to do that one specifically, because apparently no one talks about it. Sure.
Also,
again, I'm biased, but whatever.
The views expressed here are based on personal opinions and experiences and may not reflect everyone's perspective. Please consider them as one viewpoint among many. Defining loneliness. What makes a person lonely? It really depends on who you ask. According to a study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, men and women define loneliness differently. For men, loneliness meant a lack of groups, whether that's a group of friends or a community to be part of. For women, loneliness was more dependent on their dyadic relationships with romantic partners. That doesn't mean that men don't feel lonely when they don't have a romantic relationship. What this tells us is that when men report loneliness, it shouldn't be disregarded as romantic loneliness, but rather a lack of people and support in numerous areas, including friendship and even family. So as we make our way through this video, think of the men in your life. Where's all
that? Think of the men in your life, and if that's you, I guess just think of you.
All this loneliness coming from, and why men? Researchers Dr. Ferdy Botha and Dr. Marley Bauer found numerous causes or contributors to male loneliness. Their article published in BMC Public Health listed increased social isolation, romantic partnership disillusion, having a long-term disability, and stronger beliefs that men should be the breadwinners of the household as features that were associated with.
That's what I want, chat, right here. That me, wife, tons of kids. That's what I want. I mean, I gave up on that dream many, many years ago, but
increased loneliness. They also mentioned something that is extremely important yet increasingly rare amongst younger men: job security. Job security can give us hope for our relationships, money to support these relationships, and even a means to build new relationships. It is also an important contributor to the positive self-image of men. Without a stable job and a steady income, how could they even afford to see their friends or take someone out on dates? Without a salary and a way to contribute to society, a man calls his own value into question. Loneliness isn't gendered, but men and women do face different challenges when it comes to loneliness. Men struggle
Saying that might get, at least saying that on Twitter is a terrible thing to say. I'm so glad Twitter is just online and not real life.
to express their loneliness. Many men would talk about the weather or admit to other struggles like addiction, rather than admitting to being lonely. If you've
Because no one cares and they tell us to just go die.
seen a lot of videos or memes about male loneliness, you might think that men actually talk about their loneliness a
Nope.
lot. It's important to remember that social media is not real life, and expressing anguish anonymously on the internet does nothing to ease it. In an effort to feel seen and heard, men can gravitate towards manosphere internet personalities. This isn't always helpful because these personalities are
I
often
wonder who's he mean by that? I wonder who he means by that. I mean, I feel like we all know, but like, I wonder who he means by that.
limited to parroting the struggles of lonely men, rather than providing practical help. Romanticizing loneliness. With a perceived rise in male loneliness, there has also been a rise in media that reflects this change. Movies like Her and Blade Runner 2049 are cultural touchstones
This was just genuinely sad. I never saw this. Heard it was good though.
for how some men see themselves. The protagonists in these films are deeply lonely men who try to embrace their emotions but can only share these feelings with manufactured love interests. To some men, that might sound extremely familiar. Even before the pandemic trapped everyone indoors, the computer was a lot of men's only hope for connection. Porn replaced sex, and video games replaced real human interaction. With movies and TV shows centering around people who long for true interaction, that pain seemed to mean something. Now, men see these romanticized versions of loneliness not only as something they relate to, but as something they can use. Sometimes this turns into motivation, fuel for the gym, or other methods of self-improvement. For other men, loneliness only makes them feel cast out and rejected, not only by potential romantic partners, but by society as a whole.
He also forgot femboys and catboys. That is also something that is happening around the exact same time for the exact same reason.
Technology.
Technology.
We all want different things in life, but technology like social media can project an ideal of success that we all feel like we should meet. For many men, part of being successful is having someone they adore by their side. But beyond that, what do men want out of relationships, and how does technology affect that? The relationship
This is a very interesting question he has posed. What do men want out of a relationship? So, from what I have heard, from what people have told me, is really just someone who is nice to them and someone who will help them achieve their goals. It's really about it. There's not much children, but I mean goals, so kind of the same thing. But that's what I've noticed. But what does technology have to do with that? Well, I mean, you kind of went over it already. Pretty much it's giving you an idea of what you think you should get or what you think you deserve, and then reality hits you in the face, and that's just not what happens. So everyone gets disillusioned very, very, very quickly. So, but I feel like that's just like a general synopsis of how I've seen it. But we'll figure it out. I wonder what he has to say.
between men and women has changed. Men feel that DMs and Tinder aren't just the easiest way to try to win the affection of women, but also the only way.
True.
Men struggle to meet and court women because the channels to do so are extremely competitive. The unfortunate truth is that the best times to meet women and form relationships are when you're young, in high school or university. Past that point, it becomes more difficult.
I'm cooked, chat. I'm cooked. I didn't go to college. I didn't make enough money. I was poor. Oh, correction. I'm still poor. Never mind.
Male loneliness is on the rise because outside of high school and university, and the experiences associated with those periods of life, we have to rely on technology to meet people. This creates the reality we find ourselves in. Men competing with other men in a competition that women don't even realize they're judging. So, as our social spaces continue to be replaced with online convenience, men and women will only become more lonely. The sense of competition between men is on a global scale thanks to social media. A 2024 study found that it affects men differently than women. The researchers found that problematic Instagram use is directly associated with general anxiety.
Wow, who would have thought? Instagram. I heard Instagram also really fucks with women too. Like obviously, like in a different way, but like I would almost say an even more severe way. It's kind of crazy when you think about it.
Social anxiety and loneliness. For men, social media doesn't remind you that you should be competing. For those who have struggled to maintain friendships, relationships, or close ties with family, it can feel like social media is yelling, "You're losing," every time you log on. Loneliness is a trap. Is it even okay for men to be lonely? Of course it is, but some men don't realize that. A lot of men struggle to admit that they're lonely. For some men, loneliness and the depression that often accompanies it are flaws in their masculinity. Part of the masculine image is being a valuable partner or a sought-after individual. If you aren't achieving that, it can feel like you're failing or missing out on a vital part of life. This can harm your mental health, pushing you further out towards the fringes of society if you fall down the wrong rabbit hole.
He hasn't said it yet. There's still time, but also no one cares. So I feel like that should be said. Look, I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right. I would like to help, but I mean, from what I've been told, from my friends that have told me that they are lonely, from other people that I don't even know that have told me that they are lonely, there's not really much I could do about it. You know what I mean? There's not really much anyone could do about it. Because most people, at least most men that I know, especially around my age, well, I mean, they're looking for like a wife, brother. They're looking for like a relationship. And the friends I know have other friends, so we have the friends part covered. It's just the whole going home at the end of the day and staring at the ceiling till you fall asleep. That's not fun to do anymore. You know what I mean? But I mean, obviously what he's saying is also true. But there's like a whole other side to it. I guess they won't get into that, but that is also like another major factor that a lot of people, well, I mean, it isn't like we don't know it. You can go to anywhere online, you'll notice it. They don't care. It's sad, but it's true. But what are you going to do?
Communities like the incel community have formed around this exact process. Unfortunately, despite being a community based on the issue of male loneliness, the incel community...
I don't know about that, my boy. I wouldn't say their main focus is the loneliness. It seems like their focus is to hate women. Kind of like red pill people. They kind of do the exact same thing. See, really the difference is like an incel who has money becomes red pill, and that's really about it. They do the exact same thing. They'll seem to complain about how much they don't like women, and then incels want women, but they're poor and broke and ugly, so they can't do anything about it, right? And then the red pill people complain about women as well, but they have money to facilitate their need for hoes. That's just how that works. They do the exact same thing. They just have a different way of going about it. Like, it's like red pill used to be something interesting, but then it went a little too far to one side, and now it just kind of seems like, oh well, like you hear red pill, you feel that taste in your mouth. You feel that taste. It's disgusting. That's why. But fair enough.
Community provides nothing to heal male loneliness.
Yeah, that too.
By becoming resentful of society and feeling cheated by your circumstances, your loneliness can become exacerbated by these negative feelings and emotions, rather than alleviating them. In other words, blaming others and becoming resentful will only make things...
Blaming women, mostly. That's kind of like their forte, by the way. Blaming women, particularly their mothers, which is weird, but whatever.
...worse. How it affects everyone. If you aren't a man, you might have wondered how all this affects you. Every man has a woman in his life, and every woman has a man in his life. The effects of male loneliness are widespread and can affect anyone. This loneliness can alter social dynamics, making community interactions less vibrant and supportive, which impacts women navigating these shared spaces. Additionally, men's loneliness can contribute to mental health issues, adding emotional burdens on women who provide support. Men don't need women to solve the loneliness issue because it isn't women's fault. But if you do want to help, reach out to your father, your brothers, or the other men in your life that you care about. Defeating loneliness. Find your motivation for socializing again. If you're disheartened by romance and find that romantic love doesn't motivate you, try making friends first. It's important that you make friends that are healthy for you. Joining a community like the incel community won't help. If you feel lonely, try to reaffiliate yourself with people. Reach out to old friends or try joining new communities. If you know of a man who's lonely, you can help too. You can have a loneliness intervention, which sounds intimidating but can really just be casually inviting your friend. dad or brother out and having a heart-to-heart. Unfortunately, men can get in their own way when it comes to overcoming their loneliness. It can be difficult for men to break their masculine persona and be open about their loneliness. If you're
So, I see what he's saying, but this is like the best case scenario for asking someone or asking a lonely male to go do something. You know what I mean? This is like best. This is best case scenario. It's hard, but they'll eventually get there. It's like, yeek, yeek. A lot of the reasons why people, men specifically, aren't going to do that is because they're just not going to talk. They don't want to talk because every time they do, they get crushed. So like it, you know what I mean? And like that is going to be the catalyst. Now a man can talk to another man, and it's usually a man is going to talk to his friends, right? Usually going to talk to his friends about it, right? But also one of the problems I've also noticed, and I've said it before, solutions, results. We're not getting that. Talking about our feelings will only go but so far until we have like a game plan in set to figure out what we're doing. See, this is why the motivation thing is so important. They need motivation. Once they get that, and then start talking about emotions. Or at least their emotions, because then we can figure stuff out from there. Because I don't know about you, but I don't like repeating stuff that makes me feel bad over and over and over again just to get it off my chest. Nah, I'm not doing that. But then again, that's just me. That's just me. Don't be like me. I gave up years ago, so it doesn't. I've gotten so used to being lonely. It's not a problem anymore. It's just whatever. Like this is just how life is. So, if you are in this position, doing what he says can help, and hopefully this community can help, provided it's small now. But we're going places. Eventually, we're almost at 300. We're going places.
If you're a man who craves a romantic relationship, low self-esteem can be critical in your ability to form the relationship you want. If there is something that you're unsatisfied with in your life, the best thing you can do is work on improving yourself. Sometimes loneliness feels like something out of your control. If you suffer from mental illness like depression or anxiety, it can seem impossible to escape loneliness. Sometimes it just takes that first step. If finding new friends or asking someone out seems like a bit too much for you right now, start small and work your way up. If mental illness is getting in your way, take one thing at a time and seek help and advice from a professional. If you found this video informative, remember to leave a like and subscribe to Psych2Go for more videos like this.
Yeah, go ahead and go do that. This is, again, 100% like the best case scenario. You just entered loneliness. Because a lot of the men that he's talking about have been lonely for years. And like, you're not going to just get them to talk. Like, unless you have years and years of time. Sorry, I'm sorry. This not a heck of a whole lot's really going to happen here. I mean, again, it's unfortunate, but, you know, it is what it is.